Oh, with all this dough, I'm about to bake this incredible and light focaccia. Also, these crispy ciabattas. And finally, this gorgeous country loaf. Good morning everyone and welcome to another baking video. As I told you before, well, just a few seconds ago, we are going to bake two breads and one focaccia. Yes, maybe focaccia is another bread. But the best part of all is that we're going to make just one dough. And we are also going to use preferments. Well, in case you haven't seen many of my videos using preferments, here's one for you to check. In case you don't know what preferments are, let me tell you really easy. We're going to pre-ferment, as the word said, a piece of dough, just using a little bit of flour, a little bit of water, using some yeast, and also sourdough starter. We're going to mix, let it ferment, and then use it in a final dough on the next day. That's going to give a lot of air and flavor to the dough. So, if you're ready, let's get started and may the gluten be with you. And here is the recipe. Remember that you can download my app free for Android or iPhone. Here's the link. Time to start the preferments. And here we are going to make 3 preferments. Polish, Pâte fermentée, which is kind of an old dough, and this is going to be an levain, which is a sourdough starter just refreshed. Very strong. So let's start first with the Polish. For that we need flour, then yeast, and we add the water. Slowly we start mixing everything. The Polish is going to give to the dough a lot of flavor, and it's going to make the final kneading much easier. Okay, that's all. Now we cover it and leave it there. Now it's time for the Pâte fermentée, and for that we need flour, yeast, salt, the oil, and finally the water. And we start mixing everything. This is the only dough which contains salt, because it's a bread dough. We don't need to mix that much. We're going to do an autolyze. So that's all. Now we're going to leave it there for a few minutes. Time's up. Let's open it and make a few stretching and foldings. That is all. The old dough is ready. And now we're going to make the levain. For that we need flour, of course sourdough starter, and water. This levain is going to be really strong, and it's going to help us to get an excellent oven spring. So now we have the preferments already done. But now it's time to let them ferment. I recommend to do it overnight. Yes, so tomorrow morning we'll have them ready to make the final dough. The room temperature should be around 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Ta-da! And now that we finally have all the ingredients ready, let's start with the dough. In the mixer bowl, we first add the Polish. Wow, bubbles. Now we continue with the old dough, and now let's go with the levain, which by the way looks fantastic too. And as usual, I'm going to use the Pâte because this dough is high hydration. I prefer using this. Now we add the rest of the flour, yeast, sugar, and we add the water. Now carefully we start the mixer. Oh, sometimes it could be a little bit messy. As soon as we fix this, we add the salt. And a few minutes later, we add the olive oil. And we'll mix the dough till it looks shiny and this elastic. And now that the dough is ready, I'll put it in this container. And I will let it rest there for around 15 minutes. Okay, now it's time to make some stretching and foldings with a wet hand. Let's cover it again. And that is all by the moment. Now we need to let the dough rest for a few hours till it doubles in size. And then we continue. Whoa. So from this dough, we're going to make 3 breads. Well, 2 breads and 1 focaccia. So let's put it on the counter and divide it. The first bread that we're going to make is a country loaf. So let's start shaping it. It's really easy. So first, let's arrange the dough. Now we pick one side and we fold it into itself. Now we take the other side and do the same. Now we roll the dough in. That's going to give it a lot of tension. Now we close one of the edges, the other one, sprinkle some semolina on top of it, and we transfer it to the panettone. And take a look at the loaf. It's perfectly proofed, ready to go into the oven. This bread, we're going to bake it in the Dutch oven. And now I sprinkle some semolina. which has to be really, really, really hot. Let's flip it over. Oh, it's huge. And now with this sharp lamb, let's score it. Now I cover it with a lid and take it to the oven for around 15 minutes. And this is the moment that scares me the most. Time to open it. Wow! And now that we know that we had an incredible oven spring, let's take it back to the oven for another 15 minutes. I'm stopping the video for a few seconds to remind you that if you want to learn more about sourdough bread, here's the link for my masterclass in sourdough bread. Please click it now. Ooh. Hollow and super light. Let's cool it down. And now that it has cooled down, let's open it up. The crumb is so fluffy and soft. And now it's time to try it, but I have a better idea. So let's cut a few slices of this bread. I love that sound. And now they go straight to the toaster. Meanwhile, we slice a juicy tomato. And now that they're done, we go first with the garlic. And now we smash this incredible tomato. Don't forget the olive oil and a pinch of sea salt. And here comes the jamón. Yes, the prosciutto, but from Spain. And now, time to try it. Pâte. And now with the second piece of this dough, I'm going to make the focaccia. So we stretch the dough a little bit. And this is going to be really easy. So we take all the edges to the center. Now we flip it over and give it some more tension with our hands. Yes, it's like a ball. And now in this focaccia mold or pizza mold, we put some olive oil and we put the focaccia in there. The focaccia is shaped, so now I need to let it rest until it reaches the top of the mold. Then it's going to be ready to be baked. And now that the focaccia is already proof, comes the best part, using the fingers. But first, we have to decorate it. So let's start with some sliced cherry tomatoes. Wow, this dough is super fluffy. I need to do it very slowly. Now I continue with some minced garlic in Italian olive oil. I cover it all, and now at last but not at least, some sea salt. And now straight to the oven. Wow, looking nice. I let it cool down and then we slice it right in the middle. Good, time to open up the focaccia. But I don't know how. This way or this other way. Let me see in comments what do you think. But it's going to be late, sorry. It couldn't be more fluffier. And now, as always, the best part. Oh. And now, with this piece of dough, I'm going to make ciabatta. Now I'm going to sprinkle some semolina rimacinata on top of the dough. The good part of the ciabatta is that we don't have to shape nothing at all. Just using this cutter, I'm going to divide the dough. Now on this peel, I put a parchment paper, sprinkle a little more semolina, and transfer gently each ciabatta there. Now, straight to the oven. Wow, and here are the ciabattas. I let them cool down, but this continues. And now, it's time to prepare an incredible sandwich. First of all, let's open up this ciabatta. I want you to hear this. Wow, take a look at that open crumb. Now it's time for pesto. I love pesto, with a lot of garlic. Write me in comments what do you think, more garlicky or less garlicky? And here comes the burrata time. ho, wow. And now we put it on the pesto. Now a drizzle of olive oil, and here I come with some slow roasted cherry tomatoes. With a little bit of garlic too. Now some arugula to make it a little bit more greener, pinch of salt, and a drizzle of balsamic vinegar. And now let's crown this sandwich. Whoa, I told you, it's going to be incredible. And as usual, the best part of the video, tasting. Wow. So this is the end of the video. You've seen how versatile is this dough. We made 2 breads, 1 focaccia, but you can make much more. From pizzas, baguettes, and also focaccias. I read in comments what kind of bread did you do with this dough, and I'll be reading that. So that's all for today. Thank you, see you in the next video, and may the gluten be with you. I hope you have enjoyed this video. And if you want to learn more about sourdough bread and sourdough starter, I encourage you to check the link on the description. And remember, this masterclass was especially designed for you.